माझे मॅडम अजून कोणाला होस्ट करायचंय का?
हा, मला आणि सुनील परब आणि मला सांगोर्डे अजून जॉईन झाले नाहीये. पण
ओके, ठीक
तुम्ही
आहे.
काही करा, मी सांगते जॉईन करायला. मला मला आणि सुनील परब त्यांना तर कराच तुम्ही. हा. हम्म.
गुड इव्हनिंग मॅम. आवाज क्लिअर येतोय का माझा?
थोडा मोठा लागेल जरा.
आता ठीक आहे?
हा हा हा, ठीक आहे, ठीक आहे,
ठीक
ठीक
आहे.
आहे.
काही वाटलं तर सांगा, म्हणजे मी ऍक्च्युली
हो हो
माईक
हो.
लावलेला आहे. जर असं काही
हा हा.
वाटलं माईक काढेल मी.
हो हो हो, चालेल
ठीक आहे,
चालेल.
perfect.
येस येस. नमस्कार सर.
I'm not
हा
not
हा
able to hear you people. नरण याचा साऊंड कसा वाढवायचं?
नाही येतोय व्यवस्थित.
साऊंड वाढवायचा. ऑडिओ हा बोला. Am I audible?
नाही
I'm not audible.
ना, आता येतोय.
Okay, okay, okay. Shall we start?
येस सर.
So, am I supposed to start now?
येस सर.
Okay. So, I hope I am audible.
नाही ऐकू येत नाहीये काही.
नाही येते
हा आता
माझा
आलं.
आवाज. ओके
आता आलंय.
ओके.
हा येस येस सर.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंद सर्व कारण कारणम चिंतामणि प्रहर सद्मसु कल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृत्तेषु शुरधीर विपालयन्तम लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेव्यमानम गोविंदमादिपुरुषम तमहम भजामि. On behalf of Center for Hindu Studies, I welcome you all for this wonderful talk on Ramayana and Mahabharata unfolded in the Central Himalaya. Uh, we welcome Sunil Parab sir, Sindhu Ved Research from Sindhu Ved Research Foundation. We are very much thankful to him for giving his valuable time for our center, as the motto and goal of our center is to spread the Hindu studies, and people should know about the beautiful history, that is युगो युगो से दुनिया चलती जिसके दिव्य प्रकाश से पुरखों की वो अमृत गाथा अजर अमर इतिहास में. So this Ramayana and Mahabharata are the two beautiful histories of this world, and today we are going to unfold that part from very well-known speaker in this field, Sunil ji. So on behalf of Center for Hindu Studies, I welcome Sunil ji, and I welcome all the audience who shown their interest about our history, the true history of the world. So now I request Madhvi Narsai madam, please give an introduction to our esteemed guest, and then we can proceed. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Namo Namaha. So this was Dr. Ravikant Sangure sir, who is the director of the Center for Hindu Studies. So those who are newcomers to this lecture, the Center for Hindu Studies, University of Mumbai, conducts a master's degree program in Hindu Studies, postgraduate degree program in temple management. So we'll be launching our website very soon, and the details will be available. We also have our own YouTube channel, and so the activities which are there are posted on that. So with this, I welcome Dr. Sunil Parab. We have already circulated his brief introduction. First of all, he has been the student of the Department of Sanskrit University of Mumbai. So he, as well as the student for archaeology at the Center for Center for Extramural Studies, University of Mumbai. So he is our alumnus. So welcome home, Sunil. And he has been into teaching. He is MD. Doctor by profession, MD Ayurved from D.Y. Patil University. And besides that, he's teaching Ayurved. He has his interests are very much there in cultural studies, in the studies of sacred stories which are there in India and also abroad. So so he went to Dehradun as as an associate professor for Ayurveda, but his pursuit for searching sacred stories, sacred lands didn't hold him over there. So he wandered in those areas and he has significantly contributed to the study to the new branch called the Himalayan studies. So he has worked on Naga Devatas, he has worked on different temples, the festivals which are there in Kumaon, Gadhwal, and he also has his own theories. So also he connects ethnology and botany and medicine together. And at the same time, as I have told you, many of my students, I always say that stick to your roots and then go everywhere. So he is well stuck in his roots. So he does a lot of work in the Malvan region, and he worked with a professor from Ohio University and documented the temples of Betal in Malvan and Goa. So he comes from Malvan, so he has done work for his hometown, research work which is there, and it's always helping us. And thank you, Sunil, for again coming in touch with us. And I'll not take much time with this introduction. I request him to begin his talk. I hope you will welcome all the students will like a different a different story. See, Ramayana and Mahabharata have always been our living tradition. So, how do the people of Kumaon, how do the people of Gadhwal in the Uttarakhand still live with the Ramayana and Mahabharata is something which Sunil will unfold. So I request you to begin the talk.
Thank you, Dr. Madhvi and Dr. Ravikant, sir, for this introduction and for giving me this opportunity to come back to my own institute and connect with the students and scholars. So, first 10 minutes of the presentation, I'm going to talk about some theoretical issues associated with this presentation. Because this is a Hindu studies, is an academic course. So there is also a theoretical part which we need to address. So for first 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about some theoretical things. And then we will go into the field work, whatever I have explored in the field that I'll share with you. Good evening to all the students of Hindu Studies in the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai. I respectfully offer my salutations to the department, to the sacred Vastu of Ramakrishna Bajaj Sanskrit Bhavan, to all the highly esteemed faculty, past and present, who have contributed to the preservation and dissemination of Sanskritic and Hindu knowledge. The Ramayana and Mahabharata have been integral components of India's cultural and spiritual heritage since time immemorial. Alongside these epics, the Himalayas have stood as silent witnesses to the historical evolution, philosophical development, and traditions of Hindu religion across centuries. In today's session, we shall attempt to listen to these Himalayas, specifically the Central Himalayan region, with particular reference to the present-day state of Uttarakhand. Our objective is to explore, understand, and critically analyze the Himalayan perspective on these two great Hindu epics. Through this regional lens, we aim to gain insights into how geography, sacred landscape, and local traditions engage with and reinterpret the narratives of the Ramayana and Mahabharata. When we refer to the Hindu epics, an important methodological question immediately arises. Were these epics exclusively confined to what we today identify as Hindu religion? This question invites us to reflect critically on the historical and philosophical scope of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Closely related to this is a second inquiry. Should Buddhism and Jainism be understood as entirely separate religions, or rather as distinct schools of philosophy, as we call it, darshanas, that emerged within the broader Indic intellectual and spiritual spheres. A third question naturally follows. Is it possible that multiple religious beliefs and philosophical systems coexisted, interacted, and evolved simultaneously in ancient India alongside what later came to be termed Hinduism? As students of Hindu studies, we are familiar with the theoretical responses to the first two questions. Traditionally, Bauddha Darshan and Jaina Darshan are viewed as integral components of the larger Indic civilisational framework, sharing common cultural, ethical, and narrative foundations. Both traditions developed their own interpretations, retellings, and adaptations of the great epics, reflecting doctrinal nuances and philosophical priorities. However, this leads us to a more complex and practical concern. Can we meaningfully identify, delimit, and standardize all these diverse traditions, narratives, and philosophical positions under the single unified category of Hinduism? Or does such standardization risk oversimplifying a historically plural, fluid, and dialogical tradition? This tension between unity and diversity, between classification and lived plurality, forms the critical framework within which our present discussion is situated. Religion may be broadly defined as a complex range of socio-cultural systems that encompass prescribed behaviors and practices, ethical and moral frameworks, belief systems, worldviews, sacred texts, sanctified spaces, prophetic traditions, and institutional structures. Collectively, these elements seek to relate humanity to the supernatural, transcendental, and spiritual dimensions of existence. Within this context, some scholars and practitioners argue that Hinduism does not comfortably fit into the conventional category of religion, but it is more accurately understood as dharma. One of the classical vyutpattis of the term dharma is dharana dharma, that which sustains, upholds, or holds society together. Interpreted in this sense, dharma is not a rigid, universally uniform system. Rather, it functions as a context-sensitive, dynamic principle shaped by multiple determinants such as one's kula, clan lineage, varna and ashram, social and life stage roles, profession and duties, geographical and ecological context, familial responsibilities, and broader societal obligations. Consequently, dharma acquires a subjective and situational dimension, allowing for diversity in practice while maintaining an underlying ethical coherence. This flexibility explains how multiple belief systems, philosophical schools, and narrative traditions could coexist within the broader Indic civilizational framework without demanding doctrinal uniformity. Understanding Hinduism as dharma rather than narrowly defined religion thus enables us to appreciate its pluralism, adaptability, and integrative capacity, features that are essential to any serious academic engagement with Hindu thought and practice. Returning to the central theme of this lecture, I would like to clarify at the outset that my engagement with the Central Himalayan region did not begin as a formal research project focused on the Ramayana or the Mahabharata. My initial presence in the region was in my capacity as an assistant professor at a medical college, rather than as a scholar of epics or religious studies. It was only through prolonged residence and lived interactions that I gradually began to understand the region, its people, languages, culinary traditions, social structures, and everyday belief systems. This process of immersion provided access to the folk deities, ritual practices, and indigenous religious worldviews that shape Himalayan society. Consequently, my exploration of the Ramayana and Mahabharata in the Central Himalayas emerged through the prism of local folk traditions, rather than through a direct text-to-text comparison with the Sanskrit epics. The approach was ethnographic and experiential, not comparative in a strictly philological sense. The insights, or what we may term the unfolding, referred to in today's poster, did not lead me to conclude that the Himalayan traditions merely replicate or mirror the Sanskrit epics. Instead, the experience revealed something more nuanced. These traditions represent narrative and theological forms that are equivalent in function and meaning, but not identical in form or content to the Sanskrit epics. They are indigenous and autonomous traditions, rooted deeply in local history and ecology, yet they remain dialogically connected and complementary with the Sanskrit epic corpus. This relationship is not one of imitation, but of coexistence, where parallel narrative universes enrich rather than dilute the broader Indic epic imagination. Before proceeding further, I would like to clarify one additional and important methodological point. When we speak of folk beliefs associated with the epics, it is essential to acknowledge their vastness. Such beliefs are not only numerous, but in a sense, virtually infinite, spread across different regions of India as well as across South Asian and Southeast Asian cultural landscapes. As a researcher in Hindu studies, I fully recognize the importance and empirical value of these folk beliefs. However, for the purpose of academic analysis, it becomes necessary to apply a clear criteria of selection. My focus is specifically on those folk beliefs that have successfully transformed into sustained folk traditions, social practices, or ritual systems. To illustrate this distinction, let me offer two contrasting examples. In coastal Maharashtra, okay, so as ma'am has said, I come from Konkan. So there is a place in Konkan where there exists a Shiva temple where villagers point to a dark red patch outside the temple premises. See, these are all folk beliefs. Okay, so we are respecting the folk beliefs, but for the academic purpose, I'm giving this example. It can be a bit funny, but we are not trying to make fun of the folk belief. Outside, so there is a Shiva temple where villagers point to a dark red patch outside the temple premises. According to the associated folk narrative, Sri Ram is believed to have visited this place during his Vanavasa, consumed pan, and spat at that very spot. While this narrative is undoubtedly a folk belief connected to the Ramayana, it has not evolved into a recurring ritual, social custom, or any tradition. In this sense, the belief remains symbolic rather than performative. In contrast, among the people of Jaunsar Bawar in Uttarakhand, the long-standing practice of polyandry. So, if there are multiple brothers in the house, they will be getting married to one lady. So, one wife for all the 5 or 4 brothers, as we see in Mahabharata. So, the practice of polyandry observed until recent times is directly linked by the community to their self-identification as descendants of the Pandavas. Here we witness a folk belief derived from Mahabharata that has materialized into a concrete social institution and lived practice. This distinction is crucial. While both narratives qualify as folk beliefs associated with the epics, only the latter demonstrates the capacity to influence social organization, ethical norms, and cultural practice. Therefore, in my presentation, the primary focus will be on what we may term influencer folk beliefs. That is, epic associated beliefs that have transcended narrative memory and have actively shaped local traditions, rituals, and social practices. These beliefs offer deeper insights into how The epics function not merely as texts, but as living forces within regional and indigenous cultures. The antiquity of regions, civilizations, and epic traditions plays a crucial role in the present study. It is essential to distinguish clearly between the dating of epic texts and the antiquity of the epic narratives themselves. So, as Dr. Ravikant sir had mentioned, it is history, it is itihasa. So, when we are understanding the text and the things that we see in our society, let it be in terms of sacred geography, different temples, different beliefs, then we have to understand the antiquity of all these different factors before doing the correlation. Dating of the epic text and antiquity of the epic narratives themselves. The chronological dating of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata refers primarily to the extinct manuscript traditions. Texts that have survived centuries of India's climatic challenges, foreign invasions, and internal socio-political disruptions. However, the stories, characters, and narrative motifs of these epics undoubtedly predate their surviving written forms. Indian intellectual traditions relied extensively on oral transmission, Shruti Smruti Parampara, long before manuscript culture became widespread. Knowledge, sacred, social, and practical, was preserved and transmitted across generations through memorization, recitation, and performative modes. Beyond formal scholastic circles, oral tradition served as the primary medium through which communities expressed emotions, preserved folk memories, narrated local histories, conducted trade, and organized daily life in their respective regional languages. As a result, the epic narratives penetrated deep into popular consciousness, making their origins difficult, if not possible, to date with precision. Consequently, the epics inhabit an ancient past that resists strict chronological fixation. The question of human antiquity in the Himalayan region further complicates the discussion. Archaeological attempts to trace early human presence have often referenced fossils such as Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, and Brahmapithecus. So all these fossils were found in Shivalik hills of Central Himalaya, that is in Uttarakhand itself, which were once hypothesized as early ancestors of Homo sapiens. Although these assumptions remain debated, they underscore the possibility of very early human habitation in the Himalayan and sub-Himalayan zones. Winter needs draws attention to an important cultural transition. The eastward movement of civilization from the Indus region towards the Gangetic plains, including the period associated with Atharva Ved. He notes a corresponding shift in literary content marked by the appearance of new flora and fauna, as well as emergence of previously unrecorded deities and ritual elements in the textual corpus. The transitional phase, broadly dated between 4th century BCE and 4th century CE, reflects a dynamic process of cultural expansion and adaptation. Yet, a critical uncertainty remains. Was there a pre-existing civilization in the Himalayan regions prior to the arrival or expansion of Vedic culture? And if so, did the deities, myths, and narrative traditions of these indigenous Himalayan communities influence Sanskrit literature and epic traditions? While definitive answers remain elusive, the evidence suggests the possibility of bidirectional acculturation. That is, Sanskritic traditions may have influenced regional and folk cultures while simultaneously absorbing and reconfiguring indigenous deities, myths, and ritual practices into the evolving epic and Puranic frameworks. This perspective allows us to move beyond linear models of cultural diffusion and instead recognize a complex dialogical process of cultural interaction, which will become more evident as we proceed with specific case studies. So these were some of the theoretical points that I wanted to address at the beginning. Now we'll go with the field observations. So this is Uttarakhand. We almost, I guess, all must be familiar with Uttarakhand. These are two main divisions, Garhwal and Kumaon. When we are going to talk about regional distribution, what we see with reference to the epics, we will start with Agneya and we'll go towards Vayavya. So we'll start with Kumaon division, then we'll come into Garhwal. In Garhwal, we will talk first about the region surrounding Ganga, and then we'll go to the region surrounding Yamuna. Now, different references of Uttarakhand that we find in Sanskrit literature. So in Atharvaved, we find a reference of Yamuna Pradesh. So the region surrounding Yamuna. Kalashaila, Kalakuta, and Kalaparvata. So these are the references in Mahabharata. This is a place called as Kalsi. It is just 40 kilometers away from Dehradun. Very beautiful place. As we say, Haridwar is a point where Ganga leaves the mountains and enters the plains. Similarly, Kalsi is a place where Yamuna leaves the mountains and enters the plains. So in previous times, it was very important from spiritual and ritual perspective. Nowadays, Ganga has become more popular and Kalsi is a bit neglected a place. But we see a lot of archaeological findings in that region. As you know, as the name is there, Kalsi, Kalakut, Kal, very danger. Yamuna is considered as very dangerous. And just behind Kalsi, there is a village. The last village name is Badwala. So Badwala, because it is always affected by bards with the overflooding. So that is the nature of Yamuna. And we will talk about in detail as we go ahead. Bharadwaj Pradesh. So this is actually the region surrounding Haridwar. So again, going to the mountains, the journey starts with Kalsi or Haridwar. For if you want to go to the Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri, Yamunotri, the journey actually starts with Haridwar because that is the point where Ganga leaves the mountains and enters the plains. So from Haridwar, if you go upward, you will come across many places associated with sages. The region of Haridwar was called as Bharadwaj Pradesh. There is a very famous place called as Kankhal. It is believed, as per folk belief, that Kankhal is a place where Daksha Yajna, the story of Daksha Yajna happened. Indeed, all these places, let it be Kalsi or Haridwar, had reached civilizations, and we can't comprehend the kind of civilization that was existing over there. We don't know. Those were like the biggest cities of that time period. So whenever there is any archaeological excavation, we always find a lot of things over there. And because of the things found in Kankhal, it is believed that it was one of the biggest cities of that time period. And that's why Daksha Yajna is associated with Kankhal. Uttara Kaushala. So this is a reference, Uttara Kaushal. Kaushal and Uttar of Kaushala. This reference comes from Ramayana. And Ocle, in his book, mentions that perhaps by 600 BC, that was the actual name of the region. So Ramayana as epic talks about the different places, but Ocle is a foreign scholar who visited over here, who wrote down his studies. So he mentions that till 600 BC, maybe around 600 BC, the actual name of the region might have been Uttar Kaushala. Then comes Uttara Panchala, Uttar Kuru. Now, in Mahabharata, we remember the story that after the academics of Kauravas and Pandavas are completed, Dronacharya asked them to fight with Panchal. So that was kind of revenge that Drona wanted to take. He wanted to insult them and also to get a lot of land from Panchala kingdom. So that Uttar Panchala part was later won by Kurus. And that's why it became Uttar Kuru. Technically, though it comes under the dynasty of Kuru, it is considered as land of Dronacharya because that was done as Guru Dakshina. That act was a part of Guru Dakshina. So even today, if you see Dehradun word is made up of two words, Dehra and Dun. Dehra is a Sikh word. It is Dehra means home, and it is because it was that land was given by Aurangzeb to some Sikh Ram Rahim. He was a Sikh teacher. There is a very interesting historical story, but then we'll just divert from our subject. So Dehra words comes from that historical perspective, whereas Dun comes from Drona, and that's why the land of Dronacharya, Dun, and the Dehra got attached, becoming it Dehradun. If we see a lot of British uh, writings, they just mention it as Dun. Dehra is missing over there. So Dhun is the ideal name of the place, which comes from Dronacharya. And it also helps people to justify their claim over being the academic city in the India. So because it is city of Dronacharya. Uttarpatha, Kautilya mentions it as a path for going to Manas Sarovar and, Kailas mountain. So this is where from Uttarakhand through Kumaon, people used to go into Tibet and accordingly they used to reach. So that's why it is called as Uttarpatha. Yuga Shaila. Now, this Yuga Shaila term is found in inscriptions. There are two different sites where we find the archaeological remains of Ashwamedha Yajna done by Shaila Varma. So Shaila Varman has done, and his name is mentioned in that inscription. Saimhapura, this is Lakhamandal inscription. Again, we are going to see all these different sites. This is kind of a virtual trip for everyone in Uttarakhand. Again, Brahmapura, this comes in the travel logs of Yuan Sang. Kartrupura, pillar of Samudragupta Allahabad, and Kartikeyapura. So this is Kartrupura, Kartikeyapura, Kirtipura. These lands we find it associated more with Kumaon region. Kedar Bhumi, again we find this inscription. Khasa Desha. Now Khasa people were considered as the actual inhabitants of this region. Danava Bhutala. This is again another mention. This Ashok Challadev, he himself mentions this region as Danava Bhutala, and he mentions himself as Danava Bhutala Vetala Vikramaditya. This is the term he gives himself. And when we come to the Puranic literature, in Skanda Puran, we find mention of Gadhwal as Kedar Khanda, and we get a mention of Kumaon as Manas Khanda or Purmanchal. So while we do the dating, we are talking about when the civilization might have started, when humans might have inhabited these places. This is one of the important sites. This is Lakhudiyar. We have wall paintings, wall art over here done by which tell us that there existed Stone Age civilization in this region. Here we can see Matpalji. Matpalji he's the name for this field of cave art. We know about Bhimbetka, right? So Bhimbetka, the majority or the authority work has been done by Matpalji. So we were very fortunate to meet Matpalji. If anyone goes to Bhimtal, Matpalji still stays over there, and he has established a folk museum in Bhimtal, which is a must visit. So there are many such places which are not known to tourists. So this Lakhudiyar, this place is located near Almora, but people generally don't know. Tourists have not, or tourist guides have not highlighted this place. You don't get much fun activity over here, but this is definitely a must. Hello, ma'am. You are not able to see the presentation? Thank you, Mrunal.
I'm seeing you.
Okay.
I'm just seeing you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, others can see. Fine.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. ठीक है.
So, there are many places which are not highlighted in tourist maps, but because we are working in this field, we get that excitement when we visit such places.
मग ह्याचं presentation मला का दिसत नाही? Sorry,
Madam,
sorry.
नाही, हरकत नाही, मी करतो. Okay, so this is the place. Please pay attention.
रेणुका. Please continue, Sunil. I'm
Yes,
muting.
ma'am. Continue. This is a video, ma'am. So yeah, what you can see over here, the red linings and red color, that is the work. But I don't know if we can do something better in terms of preserving this archaeological thing. Okay, this is a site from Uttar Kashi. This is one of the site where we have found remains of Ashwamedha Yajna. Now, this is not my field. This is Madhvi ma'am's field because it is Vedic rituals. I'm not trained to talk about Vedic rituals, but they have found a lot of things available over here, which proved it to be site of Ashwamedha Yajna. This is a site in Kalsi. So we talked about Kalsi, which is very near from Dehradun. Many people don't know about this and they don't visit this place. So in Kalsi, there are two sites and a kind of bird image. They have mentioned it over here. This is Jagat Gram, because these yajna were being done for the entire universe, for the world. It was not for few individuals, and that's why this is called as Jagat Gram. Now, this is a very interesting map shared by Dr. Brian Pennington. He is faculty of religious studies in US, and this map tells us about different civilizations that existed over here. We can see Naga people, Kunindas, Kirata, Shaukyana, and Katyuri dynasty is actually, Katyuri we find in historical reference, but their association with Khasa, that is very interesting. Now we come to the Kumaon region. As I mentioned, we'll first start with the Kumaon region. In plains, in Garhwal, the main city is Dehradun. In Kumaon, the main city is Haldwani. From Haldwani, there are two routes. One goes to Bhimtal and another goes to Nainital. So this is Bhimtal. Now Bhimtal, as per folk beliefs, is associated with Mahabharata. They consider it to be a village where Bhim stayed. This is a place they believe that Bhim worshipped Shiva. So I find it interesting because they are particularly talking about Shiva, about Bhima, not about Pandavas. See, there are many temples across Maharashtra or many different regions where you find something very old, very historical, and they connect it with Pandavas. In Maharashtra, either something ancient is associated with Pandavas or with Shivaji Maharaj. So here, only Bhim is particularly mentioned. And this place is also associated with Karkotaka Nagadevata. So there is a mountain along with this tal, and it is believed that at the top of the tal is the head of Karkotaka, and at the base it is the tail of Karkotaka. So the entire mountain represents the Nagadevata itself. So this is what I like about our religion, because everything is so poetic. The entire mountain being the Nagadevata. So Nagadevata and Bhim are associated in Mahabharata. And that's why I find it very fascinating that this place is particularly associated with Bhim. Bhimtal was a main trade route connecting plains to upper Himalayas in Kumaon region. Nainital was further developed by British settlers. Before that, just indigenous people, only used to visit Nainital to worship Naini Devi. It was not a trade route, it was not a hill station. But some of the British people followed these indigenous people to find where they go. And that's how they found the place of Nainital. And they settled it as a hill station, started their schools, had their cantonment area. And that's how now Nainital developed as a tourist location. But if we see in a historical places, Bhimtal was much more popular, was the actual travel and trade route for indigenous people. This is another temple in Bageshwar. And here, the name of the place, Bageshwar itself, is from this temple. Here, Pandav got darshan of Lord Shiva in form of tiger. And that's how, in Konkan, we have a temple of Vyagreshwar. Similarly, here it is Bageshwar. I like this temple because, again, I go back to the reference of Winternitz, where Winternitz says that as the Vedic civilization migrated from Indus to Ganges, they came across new flora and fauna. And at the same time, they were in search of new gods. New gods were found, new stories were found. So this is a time where the tiger was somebody very new. It was a new motif for the people. They liked it and they were also scared of it because it was new, new interaction. And this is exactly the process by which these flora and fauna became part of not only Sanskrit literature, but also part of Hindu rituals and practices. Next, we come to the story of Kalya Mardan. Okay, so I'm sure everyone is familiar with Kalya Mardan. Lord Krishna defeated Kalya, and he does not kill Kalya. This is very interesting. Many demons are killed, but in this story, Kalya is not killed. Rather, Kalya becomes devotee of Krishna, and Krishna says, and he requests Krishna that I also have a family. I need to stay somewhere. Okay, I leave your place, but then where should I go? And Krishna tells him, okay, go to some place. You can stay over there. Now, there is a folk belief in Kumaon that Kalya Nag, after Kalya Mardan, came in that region. And as his sons grew up, he gave each son one mountain. That's how he distributed his land. We actually conducted an exploratory study in 2023, where we came across two temples, Berinag and Dhaulinag. And it was very fascinating for us because, see, Naga Devata Pujan is common across India. The motif of snake is common across the world. You see all ancient civilizations, Greek, Mesopotamian, Aztecs, Norse, all civilizations have snake symbolism. We also worship snake across India, but we don't give the snake unique identity. We worship it as a Nag Devata. On Naga Panchami, we worship Naga Devata. This Nag does not have a particular name, color, structure. But here it was interesting for us because these Naga Devata had their unique identity. Then we started searching. Why? How many Nagas? So people were not very familiar with these things. They knew only about Naga Devata in their region. Okay, they did not know about other Naga Devata in neighboring regions. So as we searched, we came across this story from some local elders. And then again, we started searching for more Naga Devata in the region. So second phase, we conducted just last month. We went over there, we talked with people, we tried to search for more Naga Devata temples. And we also tried to get connected with people for textual references for books which are not actually available in market now. So this is a map given by Jarrett Land. He is a PhD scholar from Heidelberg University. You can see he has mapped, because he was working on Naini Devi in Pindari Glacier. He has published his own book, and he has mentioned all the places in Uttarakhand associated with Naga Devata. So here you can see number 12, he has mentioned about Berina. But which are those Naga Devata? What are the locations of the temples? That is not known. This reference comes from different books, and that's how it came into this map. This is also another map which was provided by Dr. Brian Pennington. And here you can see just below Kumau, if you can see Kumau, below it Chokri, and then there is Berinag. So again, Berinag, site of numerous Naga temples. What are those Naga Devatas? Which are those locations? That is not mentioned. So we, in second phase, we successfully have documented, of course, Berinag, Dholinag, these we had visited in 23. Now we have documented one temple of Vasuki-Nag. We have got one more reference location of one more Vasuki-Nag temple. Kalya-Nag, there is one temple. Pingli-Nag, there are two temples. We have documented both. Hari-Nag, there is one, and Feni-Nag, there is one. So again, we'll be visiting again to document, to do more documentation. We recently presented our work in one of the conferences in Mumbai University, where we shared our analytical findings. So I won't spend more time in this lecture. Next, okay. So this is a temple in Kumau called Dunagiri. Does it ring any bells? Any student of Hindu studies? Does the term Dunagiri remind you of something from Ramayana?
Dronagiri Parvat.
No? Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, as rightly mentioned, there is always
Sanjeevani Bhuti.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, it is always more fun when the session is interactive, but of course on online we cannot be much interactive. So yes, rightly mentioned, Dronagiri and Sanjeevani is associated with this. There is a big confusion between two temple sites in Uttarakhand. I had recently attended a session by an author who has published a book on temples in Uttarakhand. And a person from the audience asked about this site. Is it the site associated with the story of Dronagiri? And the author said there can be multiple locations associated with these stories, which is actually not right. There is a reasoning for each and every temple. So Dronagiri, as we know from the story, is a place from where Hanuman lifted the mountain of Sanjeevani. And Dunagiri is a place where a part of that mountain fell down. So it is a small hill, and it is being considered as temple of a goddess. Interesting, right? It is not a temple of Ram, it is not a temple of Hanuman, but it is a temple of goddess. So I'll just give you a slide to read. Yes, I'll request you, if it's visible, please just go through the text, because this is what they have written. This is their story, their temple, and this is their version. Please, I'll just take a break. So here again, we find a mentioning of this place as Manas Khanda and Shaile Nivasini. Saptami Ekvachan, if I'm right. Yes, yes. Thank you, Manojji. So, that's what, again, this is the beauty of the poetry, right? Because you have taken out a mountain. Thoda, small part might fall down, right? That is not one concrete structure together. That's very beautiful. Okay, I'll change the slide. So here you can see this Dwara Hat in this map. This is the location of this Dunagiri temple. So, if you open the Google Maps later, search for Dwara Hat, zoom it in, and then you will see a place called Dunagiri. So this is the Dunagiri, and Dronagiri is over here. You can see there is a dot over there, and you can imagine Hanuman flying from Dronagiri and a part falling down in Dunagiri. Dronagiri Parvat. Now this is Dronagiri, and here they have mentioned about. Yes, Madhvi ma'am, Dronagiri is same place. Yes. So when you actually search for Dronagiri, because Navi Mumbai is more close to us, that is the first thing they show, not in Uttarakhand. So this is Dronagiri. Yes, next. So here you can see, there are 3 times it is written, Dunagiri, Dronagiri, Dunagiri. This is the entire area, and the peak is Dronagiri. And you can see a round shape in between, a vacant spot, between all these 3, Dunagiri, Dronagiri. This spot is considered that it was lifted by Hanuman. In left corner, you can see a place called Jumma, right? From Jumma, that previous board was there, that this is from where Hanuman has lifted. So we see the peaks from that region. Now, many people, if you see the newspapers or social media, they many a times highlight that people of this region hate Hanuman because Hanuman took away their mountain. So this is not area of my fieldwork. Okay, the previous image of this board is taken from internet. The Dunagiri in Kumaon is my fieldwork area. So those images are taken by me. This is what I have taken from internet. And I tried to search for this claim, how they have claimed that they hate Hanuman. And the reasoning they give is because nobody in the village has Hanuman in their house. They don't have Hanuman idol. They don't worship Hanuman. I think that is not reason enough to prove that these people hate Hanuman. If you see, just on right side, there is Nanda Devi Parvat. So I'll request all the students of Hindu studies to search about Nanda Devi. Nanda Devi is a very big goddess in this region. She has her own cult, own religion, all, Sthala Mahatmya and everything. The Nanda Devi Rajat, the fair happens once in 12 years. And you must note this because it is going to happen in 2026. It happens only after 12 years. There is a particular type of a goat, a very distinct goat, which is required for this fair. And it becomes visible only after 12 years. Somehow, nobody knows. And you have to follow this goat. This goat goes to the top of Nanda Devi peak and then disappears. How? Mysticism. So again, that is a part of folk deity studies, not associated with this epics. But the point we have to understand over here, that if there are settlements in distinct villages in mountains which are detached with urban civilizations, which are detached from television, electricity until very recent times, for them the folk deities represent everything. It is okay if they don't have Hanuman idol in their temples. So that doesn't mean that they are hating Hanuman, right? So this is one observation. Now we come to Garhwal, and this is the region of Ganga. I'll just briefly talk about some of the places over here. Haridwar, we see Haridwar is the Dwar, right? Ganga Dwar. And from here, we start the mountain journey. Then comes the Rishikesh. Then comes now Tihiri. Tihiri is very important point. Tihiri represented a dynasty. There was a king of Tihiri and there was palace in Tihiri. So previously, the start point of Chardham was considered as Tihiri. And there were replicas of all the Chardham in Tihiri. So if there are people who came all the way from distant places to Uttarakhand to visit Chardham, but they are not able to walk on the mountain, then they will take darshan of Chardham in Tihiri itself and they'll return back. So, जो दूर से आए हैं, they should not go back without darshan. If not the actual Chardham, at least they can take blessings of their replica in Tihiri. Now, Tihiri is a dam. So there is no palace. It has been converted by British officers into a dam. And whenever the water levels reduce, you can still see the settlements, you can see the palace and everything. So there is a very there are very tragic stories associated with Tihiri when many people migrated to, because they were given places by the government, some places in Dehradun, Rishikesh, and everywhere. So they migrated. But many people also decided to stay in Tihiri itself. And even when it got converted into dam, many people died over there. And they said, even if we die in our own village, we are going to get moksha. So yes, there are such stories like that. Okay. What more? There are. Okay, you can see Gupta Kashi on way to Kedarnath. So Gupta Kashi tells us a story. Gupta Kashi tells us that after the Mahabharata war was completed, Pandavas wanted to seek the blessings of Lord Shiva. As we see in Ramayana and Mahabharata, any battle is bad, any war is bad. And what happens is we end up killing a lot of intellectual people, we end up killing our own, brothers and so on. And then to get away from that scene, one has to worship Shiva. So they come in this region, Pandavas come in this region to see Shiva. But Shiva does not want to give them darshan. So Shiva converts himself into a form of bull and he tries to run away. So Pandavas keep running behind this bull and they try to catch this bull. And as this bull is disappearing into the earth, this is a similar story to the story of Gokarna, the cow and Ganesha going into the earth. So here also bull is going into the earth and Pandavas try to hold whatever they can hold. So somebody is holding one limb, somebody is holding a tail, and wherever some part remained upside the earth, that got converted into a site of temple. So there are this Pancha Kedar, Kedarnath, Madhameshwar, Tunganath, Rudranath, Kalpeshwar. So Kedarnath is where the hump of the bull can be seen. So if you have seen, because of social media now, that is very viral, what is inside the temple. Generally, I suggest everyone that we should not take photographs into the Garbhagruha, and not at all if the local people are restricting us. We should never do that. But now, because of social media, what is we know, and it looks like a hump. Okay, so this is a story associated, and where the uh, bull got disappeared, that is considered as Gupta Kashi. It became Gupta. On the way of Yamunotri, you can see two places, Janki Chatti and Hanuman Chatti. So, in Hanuman Chatti, people believe that the story of Garvaharan of Bhima took place. If you remember, there's a story that Bhim is very proudy of his strength, and while walking on the road, he sees a monkey tail on the road. And later he realizes it is not just a monkey, it is Hanuman himself. So people say that this is Hanuman Chatti where it happened. Then there is Janki Chatti. People say these are kind of a base points. If you go to the Yamunotri, this used to be the places where people used to stay, do the camping, and then go ahead. And Janki Chatti is, there is no story associated with it, but people believe that the flora and fauna in this region is very beautiful, and that's why they have named it as Janki Chatti. Dharasu, see, Dharasu is a place which, from where the diversion of Gangotri and Yamunotri starts. And if you remember, recently there was an incident of a tunnel collapse, right? And then they established a Nag Devata, because a Nag Devata temple was shifted during this construction work. So they established it, worshipped it, apologized, so that everything happened near Dharasu. I hope I'm not forgetting anything over here. Okay, so I'm sorry, I might be, yes, I'll try to be a bit faster. So there is a beautiful Gadwali song, just few lines I'll try to sing. Panchabadari, Panchakedar, Panchaprayag, Yakchina, Panchaprayag, Akchina, Panchapado, Bieni, Ak, Bhag, Hamra, Dhana, Dhana, Bhagar, Hamra, Dhana, Dhana, Kunchine, Katal, China, Matia ki Mahan China, Matia ki Mahan China, Tala, Sahasra Ghati, Fuloki, Asman China. गंगा जमुना यकी बेटी सभ्यों की भूकती स मिटाणी छ कथक रोंदे निस्वाणी छ. So this is a folk song, very popular folk song, and it is sung by Negiji, who is very famous. I think he has received Padma Shri also, a very old person, but a very famous singer in that region. So these four lines talk a lot about this entire Gadhwal region: Panchakedar, Panchaprayag, Panchabadri, Fuloki, Asmanchina, so Valley of Flowers, Tal. So if you go near Auli, there is Devariya Tal. So Devariya Tal is a place people believe where Yaksha Prashna happened, where Yaksha squeeze happened. And Ganga, Jamuna, Yaki Beti, Sabhyoki. So we talk about Ganga being daughter of Himalaya, but here he says that Ganga and Yamuna both are the daughters of Himalaya, and their purpose is the same, to satisfy the thirst and hunger of the people. So yes, there are such beautiful stories and songs. Panchaprayag, this is how the Ganga is actually formed. And the interesting thing to observe over here, I mean, what I find, yes, Tripti, exactly. Devariya Tal, if you just go over there, it is not a steep walk, but it is a very beautiful trek. And you can see different type of flowers, the fall of yellow flowers on the road, and even stone padded roads. So that is very beautiful, a must visit place. It is very close to Tunganath, and Tunganath is considered as a highest altitude Shiva temple. So both things you can do together. So here we have 5 Prayag: Vishnu Prayag, Nanda Prayag, Karna Prayag, Rudra Prayag, Deva Prayag. So what I find interesting over here is Karna Prayag, because Karna, this character from Mahabharata, he is an amazing hero in this storytelling, right? So Karna Prayag is very important to notice over here. Then we have Panchabadri, Badrinath, Bhavishya Badri. We have heard of this news that There are a lot of landslides happening in Joshimath, right? So it is believed that in Puranas it is written that after some time, a road to Badrinath will collapse and we cannot visit Badrinath. And then we all will be visiting Bhavishya Badri. So that preparation has already been done. Budha Badri is a Vruddha Badri or Budha Badri, it is said in a local language. So Budha Badri is where there is an idol of old person. And it is thus considered that Vishnu appeared here in form of an old person and he gave darshan to Narad Muni. Yoga Dhyan Badri. See, Yoga Dhyan Badri is kind of very close to Badrinath. So it is being said that Yoga Dhyana Badri is a place where Pandavas gave their all authority to Parikshit. That these are the keys of the empire, of the dynasty. Now we are no more associated with the dynasty or the empire. So now on, we are free from materialistic attachments. Then they took darshan of Badrinath and then they went ahead. So Badrinath, it is believed that Lakshmi took form of Badri trees for Vishnu, who was meditating over there. There is also one more version of a story where it is said that Badrinath was actually a place of Shiva. It was a place of Badri trees, and that's the place where Shiva used to meditate. And then Vishnu came over there. Vishnu was very fascinated with the site. And Vishnu said, how can I take this place? So he takes form of a child. And when a small child says that I want to stay over here, then Shiva and Parvati agrees because they don't want to disappoint the small child. So they say this small child that, okay, this place is yours. And that's how that land becomes the land of Vishnu. This is one of the version of the story. Kedarnath, again, the Nath of the land of the garden. Now we come to the kind of the last and most interesting part of this fieldwork. We come to the region of Yamuna. So if you ask me which is the most favorite part for me in Uttarakhand, this is it. So I'll request you to focus on these on the left hand side, all the streams coming from Chopal, Tuni, Mori, right? And Yamunotri. So all these streams are coming together at, if you see on the left lower side, there is Vikasnagar, right? You go ahead from here, this is Sahiya. Okay. So here is the location of Kalsi, the place we talked about. So all these streams come together and Kalsi, before Kalsi, it becomes Yamuna. There are two main streams of Yamuna that come together. One is Tons River and another is Pabbar. So Pabbar comes from Yamunotri. So it is not complete Yamunotri. As we see from Gangotri, only a stream of Ganga comes, Bhagirathi, right? And then it merges with other streams to form Ganga. Similarly, here from Yamunotri comes Pabbar and then it merges with Tons River. Now, interestingly, the name of Tons in Sanskrit literature is Tamasa. So Ganga is Sattvic and Yamuna is Tamasic. And when it forms Yamuna, it causes flooding in Kalsi. And that's why Kalsi is horrible site, dangerous site. Okay. So this is the most beautiful place. You see just above Vikasnagar, there is Sahiya, then there is Chakrata. So Chakravirya, Pandav went in Ajnatavas. Chakravirya name is associated. And so this is considered as the place Chakrata. This place is more close to the border. And also this place since British times was considered as tribal regions. And that's why it is not many people were allowed to go over there. Until very recently, it is open for the tourist. Still, foreign nationals cannot go over here. So thankfully, the flora and fauna of this region is preserved. Unlike in contrast with Mussoorie. You know, Mussoorie is overcrowded now. And a lot of things they are doing nowadays, which might hamper flora and fauna again. But this place is just magnificent. So if you see, this is on left side, we are coming to the border of Himachal and Uttarakhand. On both the sides of this border, there is a community called as Jaunsari people. So we have two parts of Uttarakhand, Gadhwal and Kumaon. So two main communities are Gadhwali and Kumaoni. In addition, there is one more, that is Jaunsari. And Jaunsari are considered to be associated with mystical powers. They are considered to be having magical powers. Okay. So I stayed in Dehradun for almost 8 years. For first 4 years, I did not visit this place because many people had told me that this is not a place where you should go. Even if you go, you should not eat anywhere because there is a lot of magic happening, and humans, mainly unmarried boys, are converted into dogs, and for the day they are dogs, and as the night comes they become man again, and they are married with the daughters of the villages. So yes, so lot of beliefs, and we can discuss more about these if we talk about the folk deities of the region. So these are some of the pics I'm sharing just so that you can get an idea of what kind of beauty is in this region, the Chakrata and alongside the Tamasa River, Tons River. So this is a temple of one of the major folk deity of Jaunsar people. This is Mahasu Devta, and this is the particular one is the Chalda Mahasu. This is not in context with current study, but I'll just tell you it briefly. The person who is holding something in the hand is the Mali of Chalda, and he is possessed by Chalda. So this is very beautiful, again poetic version where there are people on both the sides, So I'll just keep it because there are few more things. I want to show you some videos. Just a minute. Okay, this was my another presentation. So there are some videos. Now we'll be very quick with this. This is a site. This site is called as Lakha Mandal. It's in the Jaunsar Bower, the area surrounding the Tamasa River, Tons River, and belonging to Jaunsari people, Jaunsari community. We saw one of the reference, in earlier sites associated with inscription in Lakha Mandal. So this is the site, and a lot of excavations are done over here, and a lot of shivling are found over here. This definitely was kind of a capital city in one point of time. This Shivalinga over here is very famous because when you are worshipping it, you see your own reflection in it. So here people believe that there is direct connect with Yamunotri. From here you can see Yamunotri, and also there is some connect with Gangotri as well. Now this is some details about this site. People consider, as you can guess it from the name Lakha Mandal, the Laksha Gruha incident had happened over here. They believe so in their folk belief. So you can see over here that the earliest evidence of structural activities at Lakha Mandal goes back to circa 5th to 6th century AD on the basis of brick structures. So this is very old. So these are the local people who give a lot of information. We can talk about these sites in details because there are a lot of symbols associated with these temples. Thankfully, they also allowed me to, record inside the Garbhagruha what are the different icons, idols are available inside. So there is a lot to talk about. In right image, you can see a circle over here, yeah, at the base. So they say that this is the a tunnel from where Pandavas might have escaped. And in reality, it was a tunnel, and now they have closed it so that nobody goes inside. And they have also found a lot of references with Laksha in their archaeological findings, and that's why Laksha Gruha thing is associated over here because of particularly Laksha. These are the two images. One is Bhairav and another is Masan. And this is a site actually the local people told everyone that they can sit over here and take photograph. But this is like on this site, you have Shivalinga in front of you. On one side, there is Masan. On one side, there is Bhairav. And it is believed that whenever anyone used to die in the community, that person was brought over here. Then the people over here, Jaunsari people, since they knew the magic, they used to do the mantra and rituals, and the person used to wake up again and they used to provide khichdi to that person. So light diet you should have after resurrecting. So this is a site where they used to do this magic. Here at the top, you can see the caves. Again, these are being termed as Pandav caves. This is like that temple is bit on the upper side of the hill, and on the lower side of the hill there are these caves. So people believe that the entrance of that tunnel, one opening is over here, and they say one opening might be in Kurukshetra and somewhere else. So this is the beautiful surrounding. So these are the folk deities. I'll skip it. Now this is another important, very important temple. This is a Karna temple. So Karna, here you can see everything is yellow because Karna is son of sun, Surya Putra, and that's why the yellow color is very important over here. So what is happening over here is there is a ritual happening at another site for which Karna has received invitation. So Karna, the Palki of Karna, is going to visit that place. Now villagers are very sad that how can you leave us alone, right? So this is kind of a ritual thing, but this is happening so naturally. They are not acting, but it just happens that people, like, there is a sword in hand of Karna. So the person who is holding the palki, those people are possessed with divine power, and they are holding the sword, and a devotee comes between and says that I won't let you go. It's like, you will have to cross my dead body. And that's what actually happens. Of course, there is no death, but he crosses the body of the devotee and goes ahead. uh, I'm just trying to run ahead because short of time. But there was also one more palki, if you have seen it. It went in another direction. Karna palki came from this direction. Another palki went in another direction. That was palki of Shalya. So Shalya is always considered along with Karna because he was Sarthi, right? So that is one of the important thing over here. Here in this temple, you will see Karna, you will see Shalya, you will see Renuka, you will see Surya, and you will also see Parshuram. So all those idols, all 5 things are worshipped over here. This is Karna at Karna Prayag. So in this temple, Karna is along with Krishna. And you can see him holding the wheel. So this is, I guess, meditating monkey. This is another temple in Karnaprayag itself. And what you see in the front is Shiva, Parvati on one side, and Karna on another side. So, see, we see a Vaishnava temple, we see a Shaiva temple. And of course, this iconography also tells us more about, the lineage or something. But the devotee, the bhakti, where devotee comes so close to the god that he gets a place next to God, that can be seen over here. Now, this is a very important, I think, last and okay, yes, Karnabharam. So there, the villains, the perspective of so-called villain in the epic is being shown over there. So fine. So this is another temple, interesting temple that I visited. This is the very upper part of Tamsa River, where even Tons River is not formed. This is a place where there are 2 different streams, Supine and Rupine, which come together to form Tamasa. Okay, so this is a place called Sankri, and here I stayed for one night because I wanted to drop one of my friend, Apollo. He was going for a trek over here. All the Swarga Rohini and all the places from where it is believed that Pandavas went into heaven, all the treks start from this place. This is Sankri. And this is a village called Sword. So I stayed over there because I just went over there to drop my friend. But the hotel owner, the place, what we call it, homestay owner wanted me to extend my stay. So he told me that, sir, wait, you are very lucky because our Devta is coming today. I said, okay, which Devta? He told me, sir, it is Duryodhan. So this guy was almost of my age, 37, 38 years. And he said, it is Duryodhan Maharaj. The problem what happened was, so this is what he narrated to me. The problem what happened was, some 20, 25 years back, somebody came from Uttar Pradesh, because at that time it was part of Uttar Pradesh, Uttaranchal. And he saw about deities, and there was a pravachan and everything. And then he said, what you are doing is wrong. Duryodhan, you cannot worship Duryodhan, because in our epics, he is the negative character. So it is not Duryodhan, it is Someshwar Mahadev. So the people of age group below 20 years, don't know this history. They recognize this god as Someshwar Mahadev only. So this was a very nearby temple. We visited it, and people nearby were again and again telling us, we didn't ask much, but they were like, this is Mahadev. Huh? Don't confuse with anything else. It is Mahadev. I said, okay, fine. So here you can see there was Devta ka Mandir. So the name of the Devta is removed from here. You know? So it's okay. I mean, they have their own version of epic. And see, as Pandavas have their lineage, even Kauravas had their lineage. And we, all of us, worship our ancestor. They are our pitris. The warriors in our history are our heroes. Yes, so we are doing hero worship also. So that is part of our beautiful Hindu practices. And there is nothing wrong with it. I'll try to wrap up within 5 minutes. This is another temple. So when you see these temples of Someshwar Mahadev, we'll call it Someshwar Mahadev because that is what, this is a god of that community. And whatever the community says, we will accept it. So these temples of Someshwar, there are some 6 sites, and these temples are closed because the god is not inside. God is outside. This is a mobile god. Chalda. Okay, so he visits different places, and whenever he visits the places, he meets the devotees, takes part in rituals and everything. So now this is another site, Katgaon. So here you can see different symbols again. Again, a name is not mentioned over here. This is about who constructed and everything, the renovation. Okay, this video I'm showing you for the purpose that now the Maharaj is about to come. Okay, his palki is about to come, and this Maharaj has a completely different vibe because I have been to these places, I have roamed around, I have been to many places, many temples, but this Devta has this feel of the king of Himalayas. Okay, so you can see if the king is going to arrive, there is a reception. You can see over here. So even he, before he comes, you can see all the music. See, these are the people who actually, these are the priestly people. Okay, they have different terms. We won't go into that now. But these are the priests. But they are sitting aside over here. They won't take part in the village discussions because their work is only limited to the household activities of this deity. That's it. Okay. Other things will be decided by the warrior clans over there. So here you can see the palki over here. Yes. The priest, then the person who is playing dhol damau, he has a different role. Mali is there who gets possessed by the deity. On left hand side, you can see a person wearing red cap. He is the Mali. So these are very important pics. They depict a lot of important points associated with it. On these villages, you always see the 2 groups, and they come together and always have arguments, fights, because that's what our ancestors did. Yeah, they were brothers. But still they fought and then they agreed to come together. So this is again a part of their ritual practice. Okay, so when I was in Karna temple, I talked with one local person over there, and I asked him a question that you have accepted, and yeah, he told me the story of how Karna came over there, and he concluded the story by telling, see what good friends they were. So they were away after death, but again they are brought together in this region. So they are nearby now. So I asked him a question that you accept that it is Karna, but why not other people accept that it is Duryodhan? So he told me an important thing. He said, if you are visiting the village, see when the Mali gets possessed, because uh, the Mali won't be standing straight. He will be taking support of the swords because the thighs of the Duryodhan were broken, right? So this is. So we'll just skip it, and I'll just conclude this. Just some last points. Okay. There is also a very important thing called as Pandav Leela. It is also called as Pandav Nrutya. Some people called it Pandav Varta also. But now Pandav Varta has became more popular as a singing process. And Pandav, what happens? These are the dance performances. Okay, Natya and Nrutya are combined together. So they depict a lot of scenes from the epic. The interesting thing over here is that the people, it is decided who is going to be who. So a person is decided that he will be the Arjun. And after him, his son will become Arjun. So this responsibility will be passed on from one generation to generation. It is specified to particular family. And when this performance happens, they actually get, so this is a belief, they get possessed with those people. So Arjun body, the person who's enacting Arjun gets possessed by Arjun, Bhima, and so on. And they perform all the stories. Now, interesting thing over here is William Sachs he has a big dancing with the self, and he mentions that it is very surprising that you might think that no, possession is, it might not be the true thing, but then how do they act or dance in sync? The scenes of the epic are not in a linear format. Any scene might happen anyway, but all the people are in sync. Their dance, their steps, everything is in sync. So how does it happen without rehearsals, without practices? So that can be explained only if we believe in the concept of divine possession. This is what William Sachs says. Then there is another thing. Now, this form, because they are getting possessed, it can be counted as a ritual. But since it is a performance, it can be considered as folk performance, right? So part this, part that, but we cannot define it or put it into one particular category. Now, Ramman, this Ramman, on left side you have image from Pandav Nrutya, and on right there is Ramman. So these are the different regions and their practices. In Ramman, they have different masks. So there are 18 characters, 18 masks, and they perform representing 18 Puranas. Ramman has been, this year in 2025, UNESCO has considered it as the World Heritage. The cultural heritage is Ramman. So that's why it is now gaining the popularity. Now, Uttar Pradesh government had decided, they have worked on it, they have decided to form a Ramayana circuit, Buddha circuit, and Krishna circuit, where that's when Uttarakhand decided to have Mahabharata circuit, because there are a lot of locations associated with Mahabharata, right? So even I told you about Chakrata, there is also a village called as Hathiari, where they show where Pandavas might have kept their weapons hidden and everything. So these are like unending folk beliefs. Even when you go to Mana and that region, different locations are given dedicated to different Pandavas. Like this is where somebody died and all. But of course, since they have not reflected into any practices or traditions, I have not talked about those. And Haryana is Kurukshetra circuit. Now the question arises, if this we have particularly talked about things which are associated with these two epics. Now the question is, if these epics have led to these folk beliefs, or these epics have included the local folk beliefs. We being part of the Sanskrit department come under the lineage of Dr. Dange, and Dr. Dange's thesis dissertation was on Mahabharata. And Dange did not, at that time period, like almost I guess 40 years back or 30-40 years back, he did not know that there is some different field, academic field, which focuses on religious studies and ancient stories and so on. So, but later, his dissertation was globally recognized. I request everyone to please refer Dange sir's work. So he makes a point that there are different folk beliefs also becoming part of the big epic. So is it possible? Or is it possible that epic and folk tales, if we consider them together, we get a different narrative or folk epic? I give an example over here. In Joshimath, there is a Narsimha Devata, and people at large consider it as Narsimha from mainstream deity. So there is Narasimha, who is actually Nath Sampradaya yogi. There is also Narasimha that we see in Marathi. So mainstream deity is also worshipped. And there is third deity in the same community where we see the deity acquiring feature of both Narasimha of mainstream Hinduism and a Narasimha of folk tradition. So this is very interesting, what we say, give and take or acculturation process. So we have three different deities in this region. When we see from the outside, we see a religion. We say, this is okay, fine, this is Hinduism, right? But this is not uniform. As we say in archaeology, as we dig down and down, we see different layers. As we dig down, we see different philosophies within the same region. We dig deeper, we see different practices, different rituals, different iconographies. Just few kilometers away, and you will see something very unique and very different. And deep down inside, we have a huge variety of folk tales. This is bibliography. These are some of the books which I have referred for this presentation. I thank Dr. Madhvi for giving me this opportunity and typically giving me this assignment, this topic, because I have presented multiple papers in international national conferences, and but she did not ask me to present on those topics. She gave me a new topic, and that actually motivated me to collect all my data from different places at one place and prepare such lecture. Thank you very much. I conclude my session over here. We'll just see if there is any question. Yes, Anupriya, you're right.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunil, for a very interesting and heavily loaded presentation. Superb. Really very proud of you. Now, friends, it's already time, but do you want to take questions? We don't mind. Sunil, will you mind if somebody...
No, definitely. If there are any questions and
do I have any questions?
And even any comments, because I believe that, only Madhvi ma'am, Ravikant sir, all our teachers over here, we all are students. We are, I'm just on this side of the table, but still I'm a student. I'm learning every day. So even if there are any comments, if I have missed out anything, anybody want to add in, please do. Thank you. I'll just read in box. Very unique information. Thank you, Malvika ji. Thank you everyone for attending. And Naga Devata, I told you about the documentation that we are doing. So, Madhvi ma'am, I have shared with Madhvi ma'am, so you can also go through it, because see, whatever we are documenting, we are aiming to make it available for everyone. Because see, everything, all these things belong to the community. That is not property of any particular individual. Anybody,
Yes,
if anybody wants to go ahead with a particular research work, they can continue. If I have done something, but if some of you want to go into the same field or continue with it, you can definitely utilize all the documentation that we have done till now. I think there are.
So, so the lecture was very, very stimulating, and so now when you were speaking about the Uttara Kuru, or the northern side, and uh, so it is. I was just reminded of a reference which occurred in the Lila Charitra of the Mahanubhava tradition, where when Chakradhar passed away, it is said, Uttarapathe Gamana. So going to the north. So, so that was something which I could relate with what you were saying. Second aspect, which I think we as students of Hindu studies should work upon. Let me tell you first thing, that the present lecture, when we planned about this lecture, when I was interacting with Sunil, it is a academic lecture. It is not a popular lecture. So you would find the nitty-gritties which are there. Not nitty-gritties, but the detailing which is there. So he's speaking about the question which he's addressing, the methodology which he has taken up. So it's a purely an academic lecture. So you have to understand the difference between both of them. Just a minute. Now, further, the another aspect which we need to pay attention is documentation of the sources around our society and also around our villages. So from where we have come. So that is something which, as students of Hindu studies, we need to take up. Also, documentation of rituals which were performed by our parents or our ancestors, and which we have discontinued now because of any reasons. I won't say start doing rituals; it's your choice. But start working on these things. At least document. Then we can think of how you are going to analyze, how you are going to write something on it or speak something, as Sunil has spoken. So thirdly, there is an element which is dealt with in many universities, especially those who are working on religion and culture, and that is called public memory. So the reference which Sunil showed on of Dronacharya, Dronagiri, and the interrelationship of Dronagiri with Dronacharya. Am I right, Sunil?
Ma'am, there was interrelation of what you are saying is right, but Dronacharya
on the temple.
Dronacharya and Dehradun.
Okay. No. One temple.
That was Dunagiri and Dronagiri. So there are two different temples, and many people confuse it to be the one, because see, many people nowadays, there is this craze of publication, and people just take out from internet.
Yeah.
There is this big confusion because they have not visited this site. So
yeah. So it is So how you can see public memory being mixed up, and also, as I have told you that that Ramayana and Mahabharata are our living traditions. So if somebody is trying to find out the birth certificate of Ram to prove that Ram existed, or the birth certificate of Krishna, it is wrong, because it is there in our psyche and in our culture, and which is evident all over India. Just as an instance, which somebody, Manoj said that Dronagiri is somewhere in Orissa. Sunil was showing Dronagiri somewhere in Uttarakhand, and I was saying Dronagiri is the very hill which got flattened during for the Navi Mumbai airport. So you can see this, and how people remember stories, and how they are put into their daily life, or how they are recorded. So, so if I doing your, this is an example of how you can combine Hindu studies with field work, with the common people, how common people are living the Ramayana. Just as we were seeing how in the Chitrakathi Ramayana of Pinguri. So it is the Ramayana of the common people, not just of the or not just Valmiki Ramayana. So this is something. So we need to also not just restrict ourselves to mere one or two texts. We have to see how people live with Ramayana, how people live with Mahabharata, how people live with Bhagavad. Okay, so that is the reason why we have thought of this lecture. So on behalf of the Center for Hindu Studies is an independent center. So on behalf of the Center for Hindu Studies, I thank Dr. Sunil Parab, our student, for delivering a very stimulating, intellectually, you can say, satisfying and enlightening lecture, and also of being one. I'm presenting an ideal before you. You can think of emulating how the work which he is doing on your scale. So we will continue. We are planning for monthly orations, which will be, of course, online, unfortunately, because of time constraints and travel constraints. And do share your feedback. So Mohini is there, so Mohini will do that, the detailing. So do share your feedback, and be with us. So stay in touch. So Sunil, thank you very much. I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, for permitting, for immediately granting permission for this lecture. I thank Dr. Ravikant Sangude, the Director for Center for Hindu Studies, who gave a go ahead and encouraged to say that yes, we need to have such a sort of a talk. Then our DICT, that is Dr. Jhende sir, and Sneha Pawar for managing the Zoom links, and Mohini, of course, for the social media which she has done. So and
Thank you,
all
ma'am.
of you who are present, and let me tell you that the number was nearly 36, 37, but till the end, now it is 29, but till the end we could see very few dropouts. So that is the outcome, a very good outcome. So thank you, one and all. So we close for today.
Ma'am,
And
if
yeah,
I
yes,
may just address one thing. Thank you for
yeah.
all the feedbacks. Prachi has asked if we can visit Central Himalaya together. So
Where
Prachi,
is it?
it's in the chat, ma'am. So Prachi and everyone, I invite you all to visit Sindhudurga. That is my home turf, and also Uttarakhand. For Uttarakhand in 26, as I mentioned, there is going to be this big festival. Yeah. So Naina Devi Rajat. So please, I welcome you all to join. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and yes, since the students have also demanded for a field visit, and I was talking with the students some time back. So if we can plan for a field visit to let us begin small. We can plan for a field visit to Sindhudurga, certain areas. And since you come from there, and if you play an important role in that, so we'll be much grateful. And those who are interested in that can give your names to me. Uh, in your respective groups, you can say that you would love to participate in it, and we'll arrange the logistics and everything, and then we'll present how it we are planning, and then we can go. So can you help us out with this? I think Dr. Sunil, do you approve of this idea?
Yes, ma'am. And I would, if you visit Sindhudurga and Uttarakhand, ma'am, I would like to focus more on the folk deities.
Of course.
Yes, yes. Because folk deities are something that they are exclusive to the region, you know.
Exactly. So I hope students will also be very much interested in doing such type of field studies. So you can so students, you can give your names to me, and we'll try to plan out. So field visit, 2 thumbs up. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So thank you, all of you. Shubharatri. We'll close for the day and
Ma'am, just a
give your
minute.
feedbacks. Yeah, Mohini, do you have to say
I'm
anything?
sharing. Yes, ma'am. I'm just sharing the link. If you could just wait for a few
Huh?
seconds. I'm just sharing the
I'm not.
feedback link in this chat
Yeah.
group so that everybody can
Okay.
log
Okay.
in. Just
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
me-
Yeah. Because we always make a report and send it to the Honorable Vice Chancellor uh, for viewing it. So your feedbacks are very important because they'll be analyzed and then sent to the Honorable Vice Chancellor. So do that. So you have shared anything, Mohini?
I am facing some issue, ma'am. Let me just share it with you. Uh, one-
Put it on the events.
yeah,
On the events group, you can put.
I'm putting it in that group also, and I'm putting here also. I've shared.
Yeah. Just a question, ma'am. Will we get access to the recording of this session? Yes, when the university DICT cell gives us access to the recordings, I will put it on our YouTube channel. We have our YouTube channel, and there are some lectures are there on that. Our entire Devi session is there on the YouTube channel. So you can think about it. So, at the next lecture, we are planning of a scholar from US, and in the month of January on Guru Charitra. That is the plan. So, so a scholar of Indian origin. So we'll be having that, but we'll announce the date and timings very soon. Okay.
We have one.
Madam, what is the next lecture you said on?
Guru Charitra of
Guru Charitra.
it is pertaining to the Datta Sampradaya.
We have a very distinct scholar in audience from
Sunil.
From Europe.
Yes.
Andres, are you there? Andres is currently working on Asian systems of medicine. So different systems within South Asian cultures. So, yeah, I think he's disconnected. He was just here. But yeah, okay. So he was
Yeah,
also.
he might have left.
Yeah, he's a very shy person actually. He
Okay.
might have selected leaving. Okay, ma'am. Good night. Ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good night. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Shubharatri.
you. Shubhratri.
चांगले आले. हं?